This episode is brought to you by our sponsor, Eldorado Gaming. Eldorado Gaming is your site for gifts and gaming accessories like dice, playmats, and other items to bling out your games. Find us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at Eldorado Gaming, or our home site at eldoradogaming.com. Here at My Mythical Meta, we talk about gaming with friends and strangers, resolving conflicts, and keeping game nights fun, interesting, and recurring. Our game of choice is Magic the Gathering, but our hope is that what we share is relevant for board game players, RPG groups, and maybe even your poker night. I'm Travis. With my friends Derek, Randy, and Benjamin, we've been playing Magic together since 2014, and every game day is fresh and exciting. We've got families, we've got jobs, but with the power of friendship, our games go on. Subscribe to My Mythical Meta, presented by Eldorado Gaming, wherever you get your podcasts. Welcome back to My Mythical Meta. My name is Travis. I'm joined by Benjamin.
Hello.
Derek.
Hey.
And Randy.
Heyo.
The full crew is here today. The full crew is here. We're ready. And it's important that we're all here because today we're going to introduce ourselves. You've listened to 2 episodes so far of 4 knuckleheads just giving advice about making friends. But I promise you, we are qualified experts, right, guys?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Derek?
Yeah, I guess so.
Give me some more of that confidence.
I didn't get a harumph out of that guy.
Give me a harumph. We are absolutely qualified to give advice. We've got teachers, we've got gamers, we've got IT professionals, and whatever Derek does for a living. All of us are here to give great advice because we are great friends. Not only have some of us studied this actual material in school, but we're great friends who have experienced a healthy playgroup for many, many years. And it is our hope in this podcast that people can have their own great experiences by listening to the things that we have to say. So we're going to be explaining in this episode what My Mythical Meta is all about. Why do we have a show, and where does it all come from? Our title, My Mythical Meta, comes from the word meta, which is short for metagame or metagaming. If something is meta, then that means you're looking at it beyond its original level. A metagame goes beyond the game itself, goes beyond the basic rules and the mechanics of the game. If you're talking about the metagame, then you're not just talking about the game itself, you're talking about the strategies, the styles, and even more, you're talking about the other players. You're looking at what type of community is being formed around the game as a whole. As games adjust, people will often say that the meta is adjusting. There are a lot of games that do this. Games like League of Legends, Smash Brothers.
Right, Magic the Gathering, of course.
Magic the Gathering.
Call of Duty. I mean, like every game that exists, I think.
Every game that exists goes through changes, especially games that exist for a long time and games that are constantly being updated. They're going to go through changes, and people will say that the meta is changing. Whenever they rebalance a character or they rebalance a strategy or make new characters that are designed to counter old ones, those are all meta shifts.
Yeah, and actually it even happens in games that don't always change, but just new things are discovered. So for example, I have a friend who plays Victory in the Pacific, which is a very old game. He's world ranked very highly, and he talks about certain strategies that people often do. And just this past weekend was telling me about some friends of his, or a guy that he knows who learned the game in Europe. And then during COVID, when the game started being played online, he started playing in American tournaments and had a completely different strategy than what the American players did, because the strategies that worked and the counter strategies and the play styles are so different that he ended up running through the Americans because of this kind of rock, paper, scissors thing, where what he learned and the way he played was different, following the same set of rules, but different strategies would work in different places because of the players involved.
And I remember the same thing happening back when I was playing X-Wing, that the TIE Swarm would dominate for one period of time, and then your aces would dominate for a little bit, and then there would be another meta where it was all about alpha strikes with missiles and blowing apart a person's entire squad in one turn. So as games shift, we call that a meta.
The meta is often taken to a higher level even than that. Can also talk about social strategies that different groups use for creating a fun or inclusive or engaging gaming session. When we talk about this being our meta, we mean the group of people that we play with regularly, right? It's how do we balance cooperation and competition? What is Randy's particular play style and how do we adjust to that? What is my play style and how do y'all adjust? Many people will say, in my meta, this is how we treat it. And that could be referring to strategies, that could be referring to conflict, it could be referring to bringing someone new over for game night. And your meta is the group of people that you play with regularly, and then metagaming is adjusting to those strategies. So you have the narrow version of meta, which just means the game surrounding the game, and then you have the broader version of meta that means the people and relationship and dynamics of the games you're playing outside even strategies. It goes beyond that.
Right, the social atmosphere in which you play and the other people that you're playing with.
Yeah.
So that's where our title comes from, My Mythical Meta. To me, my play group, these other three guys here, it's something that is fun every time. I never have to worry that my meta is going to do something that turns me off or makes the game hard to play. I know that I'm in for a good time every time we come together. And that's what I want to share. Or that's what we want to share in creating a podcast together. We know from being active members of online communities that not everyone has a great play group. There are people on Magic forums and subreddits and Facebook groups who are describing social problems that they have every day, where the game they're playing is not fun because of the other people. And that's what we want to hopefully play some part in fixing. As part of the broader gaming community, we've seen people having poor gaming experiences, and sometimes it's the other people that they're playing with, but sometimes it's themselves. Sometimes it's ourself whenever we play with strangers. Sometimes it's our own character flaw. But we believe that we have a healthy, enjoyable meta, and we want to share those experiences. So, allow me now to introduce formally each member of the My Mythical Meta team. We're going to start off with Benjamin. Benjamin,
Hello.
Take it away. Tell us about yourself and tell us what makes you qualified, your background, the games you play, the other hobbies you enjoy. Give us the Polaroid snapshot of Benjamin.
Sure. So I'm Benjamin. Most people call me Ben. I am married. I have 3 kids. I have an 8-year-old, a 5-year-old, and a 1-year-old. But that keeps me very busy. I have 2 jobs. I have my day job as a high school teacher. I teach electives concerning business and law. And then my side hustle is as a lawyer. Actually, I was a lawyer first before I became a teacher. And I still have a lot of clients and keep going with that. But it does take a backseat to my teaching job. But those 2 jobs do give me an interesting perspective when it comes to gaming. As you probably heard in the first episode, my gaming experience has gone back quite a ways to when I was a little kid playing with my family. And over time, I've been involved in pretty much every board game that every family grows up with. Your Risk, Monopoly, Trouble, Sorry, those sorts of things. And then a lot of interesting games that a lot of people haven't heard of. So a lot of people take that gateway game into Catan.
That's right, Settlers of Catan.
Yeah, to me, that's one of the easiest game in my library that's not for kids. Yeah. And I have a whole bookshelf, several bookshelves full of games. But my main game, as we've mentioned, is Magic the Gathering. I do have a whole bookshelf devoted just to Magic. And because they keep coming out with new material and the meta keeps shifting, that one keeps me very engaged. Some of the other hobbies that I participate in, I do fantasy baseball a lot. Building a baseball team to me is a lot like building a deck. And trading players is a lot like trading cards. And
you can actually make real money from that.
That's true. Yeah, I happen to be fairly good. I don't win every year, but I win enough that it keeps it going. Right?
Don't you fund your magic hobby by playing fantasy baseball?
Basically, yes. So 6 months out of the year, I'm focused on baseball, and Magic kind of takes a back seat, and then collect my winnings and buy a bunch of Magic stuff, and the cycle continues.
How many winnings are we talking about? Because I'll get into baseball.
Well, I mean, there are
This is
there
the
are
same
leagues,
person who said nobody's listening as soon as Benjamin mentioned the Boston Red Sox.
right?
Derek said, I can learn.
If people are paying, I'll learn.
I mean, there's a buy-in, right? But the idea, our league probably the total prize pool is probably about $7,000 every year, and then you split it among the top five.
Okay.
Uh,
Okay.
so yeah, it's
Derek said, when's training
About to
day?
weaponize my ADHD.
Hey, I'll get you in here. We'll talk
Okay.
afterwards. But because we're looking for new owners. Yeah.
I was going to say Derek's going to bring in a curveball to your, pun
Yeah,
intended,
that
but
that's
a curveball, and he's going to change the meta of your
That's right.
baseball.
Thank you for that. That's a great example here. The All-Star game was a couple weeks ago. The baseball MLB All-Star game. Every All-Star game we have a mid-season meeting. We get together at a local bar and grill, and we eat and we watch the game on TV, and we talk trades and all that. And different people, while we were there, we're talking about the various leagues that they're in and how people are different, how people trade different, how people draft different, and all of the different rule sets that different people follow. We're all playing the same game. We're all playing fantasy baseball, but every group does it differently, and you have to adjust your strategy based on which group you're in. That's a perfect example. Like, we are going to focus a whole lot on fantasy-based games, Magic, D&D, things like that. But the stuff we're talking about really does apply to any group you're in that's following some sort of a rule set competitively, right?
Benjamin, I had no idea you were such a jock.
I played baseball. I have a baseball trophy on my shelf over here.
Okay, when you were like 9.
Right. Well, you don't
We're
have to
living
say
in the
that.
glory days.
You're gonna edit that out, right?
Nope, that's staying
It's
in.
the same thing. Yeah, I used to play football in middle school.
Right. So that's me. Attorney, teacher, father, husband, avid gamer. My brain doesn't stop. If I'm not thinking about one game, I'm thinking about another. For a while I was playing Gundam Battle on the phone, and I was a big part of that meta and seeing what things were happening in the arena.
Oh my god, when Benjamin was playing, what did they call that? Gundam Breaker? When
Yeah,
Benjamin was
Gundam
playing
Breaker
Gundam
Mobile.
Breaker Mobile, guys, he would be number 1 in the world at some points in time.
Yeah, I think it happened 3 times where I was number 1 in the world. I have screenshots. Like, that's the next episode. I'm going to mention min-maxing, and that's just what I do. I can't help it. And in fantasy baseball, it helps me make money. In all these other games, it helps me spend money. But
yeah, that's what happened in Gundam Breaker for sure.
yeah. So, yeah, that's me. Anything else that we need to talk about?
Who wants to go next?
Randy.
Thank you so much for
Randy,
volunteering me.
Randy.
So yeah, my name is Randy. No kids, not married, but in a relationship with my girlfriend for 2 years. I guess in terms of like main games that I play outside of Magic with these guys, I did Apex for a little bit, but my team fell apart due to 2 of the guys had an in real life fight, and so I really don't play Apex anymore. But talk about a game that had ever-evolving metas of characters, new maps, constant changes in the gameplay. There were definitely, this character's better than that one, just hands down, so you wouldn't see certain characters ever get played. So yeah, hobbies is mainly the Magic. I run a couple D&D games with some friends, including Derek and Travis, and then some work friends as well.
What's your degree in, Randy?
Broadcast production.
Oh.
So, yeah, but I do IT. I'm the IT pro. I got into video games because I was a kid in the 90s. You got to start with the Sega and move on up.
I'll go next. My name is Travis, and I have a wife and daughter. My wife is one of the infamous Kristens that you've probably heard about at this point. Mine's Kristen with an E, and I have a daughter. Her name is Marin. She'll be 2 in October. And I got into gaming because I had a family of gamers. We talked about that in episodes 1 and 2, me and Benjamin got into gaming and just kind of gamifying our lives and our family because our parents were gamers. They were always playing games like pool or board games or boggle or darts or ping pong or foosball. And it was just always, hey, we have 30 minutes before bedtime, let's play a game of foosball. I remember one time, I don't remember if you brought it home, Benjamin, or maybe even Dad did, but it was a Tetris game that you would plug into the TV.
Oh, yeah.
It was always a, hey, we got 10 minutes before the bus is going to come. Do y'all want to squeeze in a game of Tetris? So we were just a gaming family all the time. And so part of the way I view the world is, hey, I have a free hour. I could play a game. What game do I want to play? Whenever I'm with these guys, that's obviously Magic the Gathering. That's the game that occupies most of my time and money. When I'm by myself, I enjoy video games. I really like character-driven games, so Dragon Age, Cyberpunk, Divinity, Original Sin, and there have been many more throughout my life too, but those are just some that pop out right now. Some of my other hobbies, I do enjoy building Gunpla. I went through a phase, my COVID time was me diving really deep into Gundam. I was playing Gundam Breaker like Benjamin was. That's yet another game that I showed him and then he got really good at. I was rewatching all of the original Gundam series and all of the Gundam series that I had missed out. So original Mobile Suit Gundam. That's when I watched Gundam Seed. I made my wife watch Gundam Wing, which was the series that was on Cartoon Network in the late 90s, early 2000s. So that was the series that originally got me into it. So anyway, I do build Gunpla now, and I do enjoy playing board games also. Our crew, me, Derek, Randy, and our wives and girlfriends back before we were married, we did board games for a long time. With things like Carcassonne, Agricola, or King of Tokyo. Just lots of board games that last an hour or last 2 hours. It seems like we're out of that phase right now. We've been doing a lot of escape rooms lately, and escape room board games. I think it's cool that they've started gamifying puzzle solving, which is a lot of fun for our group too. But now we are a D&D group, and so that game occupies a lot of our time as well. I think there's a part of my brain that really enjoys collecting, and so when I was young, that was Pokemon and Pokemon cards. Now that I'm older, I of course scratch that itch through Magic, but I occasionally get into swings of other games too. I was into Star Wars X-Wing. I played Imperial Assault. I even would paint some of the pieces for Imperial Assault. And it was the same with Warhammer 40k and Blood Bowl, that I would love to get to, but every time Magic comes back up and every time D&D or Pathfinder comes back up, I buy a new book for Pathfinder or I buy a new book for D&D and keep going. So collecting is one of the lizard brain aspects in the back of my head that I have to always satisfy. What else, guys? What else do you think I should add?
I don't know.
All right, Derek.
That's a good intro.
Take it away.
Okay, so I'm Derek. I'm married to the other Kristen, but it's with an I.
Derek copied me. Mine is Kristen Prime.
Yeah, I got her saved as Prime in my phone, so that way I don't actually
accidentally
text her some
testing
naughty
my
stuff.
wife.
It almost happened once, and I was like, oh my god, this will never happen again. So my job is to crawl under houses and get raccoons that have gotten under there, put them in sacks, and then take them out to the forest and let them go. Catch and release. Sometimes you get a possum.
I thought you were going to say beat him with a stick.
We catch and
Derek,
release.
whenever
We
you
respect
talk
wildlife.
about work, sometimes I feel like in Friends when they talk about Chandler's job, and nobody really understands what he does.
Chandler.
He's a
Exactly.
professional transponster. That's not even a word.
I like it. I'm a man of mystery.
Yeah.
With games, let's see. So I didn't play many games as a kid. We lived in the country. There was no internet. There was no TV. We had Fox and we had like WB and UPN.
Yeah.
And that was all we had at the time. And so playing outside was like the only way to get entertainment. Or play chess, which we did every once in a while. As I got higher in school or whatever, I met more people. I met Steven. and that got me into like actual video games like Smash Brothers. Like, I think that was
Oh,
the
yeah.
big one that we got
We
into
spent
at the
many,
time.
many weekends playing Smash Brothers.
Yeah, and I was garbage. Everyone else, was good at the time, and I don't know, just keep getting beat until I got decent at it. So as I got into, I think I was a teenager or something like that, the Xbox came out. Well, Halo came out.
Halo revolutionized games for a long
Yeah,
time.
that was the big thing. Every weekend I'd go over to a friend's house. We'd hook up a bunch of Xboxes together, and we'd all play multiplayer against each other. Halo 2 came out. That was the whole thing. My family started to get into Mexican Train, which is like a variant rule set of dominoes. And they still play it to this day. So when I go home to visit or something like that, it's like, you want to play dominoes? I was like, yeah, I guess so. So that's, I don't know, it's a thing we do together now.
My family's domino game was Chicken Foot.
I've heard of it. I don't think I've ever played it.
Yeah, I've played Chicken Foot,
I like
Mexican
classic
Train, and then
dominoes.
just classic dominoes.
I don't even know how to play
Oh,
Mexican.
Very different, very
I don't
fun.
even know how to play classic dominoes.
Yep, multiples of 5.
It's all about math.
Who knows how? I don't know. I used to play a lot of shooters with Halo, Halo 2, Call of Duty, Modern Warfare came out around the same-ish time frame, Halo 3. And then I guess I got old and now I can't do any shooters anymore. I tried playing Apex with Randy a few times and it was garbage. I was really good at spotting people. It's like, hey, there's a guy halfway across the map. I can't do anything about it. Especially when we get close, I'm just firing crazy in the air. So I got into computer games. I couldn't tell you what my first computer game was. Oh, it was World of Warcraft. That's what it was.
Oh, yeah. You were a World of Warcrafter.
I forgot, yeah. So Randy was like, hey, man, come play this game with me. Come play this game. They got, like, Minotaur dudes. And, it's really cool. You can turn into a wolf and stuff. So I was like, okay. So I got a computer. We played World of Warcraft for... How many years would you say? 2 years? 3 years?
Solidly, probably like 2 solid. On and off for, I think, from like Lich King all the way to... I think of the one that has the Aztec trolls.
Is that Cataclysm?
No, it's way after Cataclysm.
It's
But anyway,
the panda one. Pendar?
No, it's after Pandaria.
Then I
So
can't
was
help
that-
you. I don't
It was
know.
after
2007?
No, I didn't have a computer till like 2010, I think.
Oh, okay. So that would have been like 2010 to
Yeah.
12-ish?
Yeah. I spent my student financial aid on it.
Oh my
to
god.
buy a new computer. And I'm still paying it off. Guess who got the last laugh?
Hey, I spent financial aid on things way more wasteful.
Yeah.
Trust me.
So we did that, and then I finally just took the dive out of consoles completely into computer gaming. I played Ark, I played Sims, played Ark for like a crazy amount of time. I think it's my most played game. Let me see how many hours I have on it. 1,227 hours.
Whoa. Holy moly.
Yeah.
I think I have 400 something hours on The Sims 4. But
Yeah, I played it a lot during COVID.
yeah.
That was a blackout year for me. Play The Sims. I think what I really just got into was resource efficiency games. I really like to do something efficiently with the least amount of resources spent. So I like a lot of management games. I played this mobile game for like really hardcore, but as free to play as possible, called Marvel Strike Force. And it was very much a game where every month they have 3, 4, 5 characters coming out every month that they need to be better than the previous characters, so that way people will buy them. Right. So it was a constant meta change of like, the key characters I had last month are garbage. I need to get these if I want to stay competitive. And I guess I eventually got burned out or something. Got tired of living on a schedule around a mobile game. Right now, I've been playing Project Zomboid, which is a lot of fun. It's a kind of a sim type thing when you're trying to survive zombies. I play The Sims 4 when I'm in between games and trying to pass the time. And then Baldur's Gate 3 comes out next week, a week from today.
Whoa, really? It's that close?
Yeah, a week from today. So you guys aren't going to see me for a while.
Oh, no.
I love a really good story. I've played the EA, which is just like Act 1, and I absolutely loved it. So I can't wait to get in there and make an orc barbarian and just take people to Suplex City.
That sounds good. I'm excited.
Yeah.
I'm excited for Phantom Liberty for Cyberpunk.
Ooh, yeah.
I gotta wait till September, though.
Another one coming out. There's a lot of good stuff coming out recently.
I think Starfield is coming out recently too.
Yeah, I'm not gonna hold my breath for that one. I didn't
I'm
like
excited.
Skyrim.
I loved Skyrim. I dumped a ton of hours into Skyrim.
I played a lot of Fallout, but
So Space Skyrim, yeah, sign me
yeah,
up.
hopefully it's pretty good. But I don't like the engine that Bethesda uses. Feels clunky and old now that I've played bigger and better games since
Right.
I guess 2011.
Right.
So other than that, that's video games. My wife and I do escape rooms. We like to travel around. We've done some pretty cool ones. We've done ones in London, San Antonio, Los Angeles. Had some great ones in Los Angeles. Travis mentioned it. These murder mysteries in a box. It's like you need to solve this cold case, or one of the things like cold cases unsolved or something like that. Is one brand, and then another one that we play is Hunter Killer.
Yeah.
And so we really enjoy doing that. It's kind of like a date night type thing. And then when we have the whole group together, we'll do bigger escape rooms and have a lot of fun with that. That's probably like my single favorite thing to do. If I got one less day to live, I think I want to do an escape room with friends. And then
I mean, you're definitely a puzzle solver. Like I remember for Christmas, you put on your list like it's a book of logic puzzles.
yeah, I like.
So-
I don't know what it is. I guess I wish I had this kind of brain when I was in high school with like math, because math is just puzzles. It's just not fun. And I could have been an engineer if I cared about math at the time.
Benjamin, didn't you say law school was like that sometimes? Or practicing for the
Yeah,
LSAT?
the LSAT is full of logic puzzles.
Oh yeah,
And so
Derek said, "Come
I
on,
might be a
so
lawyer / baseball player
baseball
What?
owner, Derek, baseball
or
owner."
fantasy baseball
Not
owner.
a player. You're the owner.
Yeah, okay. I'm about to get big
Yeah,
money.
There you go. You worked in a law office or
Yeah,
something
used
like
to work
that.
for a law firm.
Yeah, why don't you just skip all that? Go take the bar exam, or not the bar exam. You're not ready. Go take the LSATs and get yourself into law school.
Oh, that costs money though. The only thing I care about in this life is
More
money.
financial
I just want
aid.
yeah.
Student loans.
I just want as much money as possible.
Well, then get out of magic.
Well,
Right.
now hold on. I gotta have my vices. I gotta scratch the itch somehow. And I don't know what it is. I guess with Magic, the reason I like it so much is that I can build a deck that's completely on me. And when it wins, it feels really good. So I like to keep that
Yeah.
feeling. Because I don't like to play competitively against real people online anymore.
Right.
Like, especially with like things like League of Legends and stuff. Like, the communities are so toxic. And if you mess up one time, you're screamed at. And I just don't have the patience for it.
Yeah, just playing against strangers just does not have the same fun that playing with an actual friend. Like, I can lose against a friend, no problem. But when it's against a stranger, it just feels completely different. I went through a phase where I really was having a lot of fun playing Teamfight Tactics in League of Legends. But even that, just the Reddits and the forums that I would try to get in there, it just nobody's nice to each other. It was weird.
To just in-cap my thing, my favorite TV shows right now are The Boys, Righteous Gemstones. I liked House of the Dragon. Travis and our wives, we all texted.
Live texted,
Yeah,
yeah.
live texted and joke about it and stuff. And that was a lot of fun. I guess that's all I got.
When it comes to like gaming and stuff like that, I did get started back with a Sega Genesis way back in the early 90s. And I guess a lot of my taste initially kind of followed games that my brother liked, just because, you know, he was older, so he was usually the one picking out the games.
I had the opposite system where my brother was younger and he would always get to play, and I had to be the bigger person, and I couldn't hog it, or I'm the bully. Whatever. It's the things you have the hang-ups about 20 years later.
I mean, you know, but me and my brother's relationship, I think it's pretty different than your, you know, you and your brothers. Because I guess I looked up to my brother, you know, since I was younger. And I think you and your brother despise each other.
Yeah,
you
we were
know?
too similar
All
in
of us
age,
have
I think.
brothers
From the sound of
and
it.
no sisters.
Yeah.
Wow, I never
Yeah.
realized that before.
Yeah.
I've got a sister-in-law.
Well, yeah.
Get outta here.
Yeah, that's completely different.
Currently, I'm kind of on a dry spell, I feel like, right now when it comes to like video games. I did a little bit of like Hogwarts Legacy recently, and so I was playing Apex, and I would kind of have like highs and lows on that one. But I don't know. I'm just like in like a dry spell. I am excited, like y'all said, for upcoming Baldur's Gate 3. I played Baldur's Gate 2 back in like the early 2000s on one of those juicy fruit colored Macintoshes.
I always think of my
know,
middle school
and
computer
I
lab with those.
Didn't know what I was doing. Yeah, like Dad was the principal, and I think like we bought it from the school when they were upgrading or something. Yeah, I remember playing those games, and it was like, I don't know what I'm doing. I could never get into Baldur's Gate. Apparently, you had to like bring a book of knowledge, and I didn't know where to find that as a kid, and so I could never even get into the city after I left
Like the first one?
Candlekeep. Can't remember if it was 1 or 2, but I remember you start in Candlekeep, you kill some rats in the city, you have to leave for some reason, some Dark Lord crud, and then it's like you're out in the wild, and you go up north, and there's Baldur's Gate, but they never let me in, and I could never figure out how to get in as a kid. So now I'm like, this is my time. 25 years later, now
Don't call it a comeback. He's been waiting
Baldur's
outside
Gate
for
shall be
years.
I felt
mine
the
to
same way
rule.
on our Super NES. We had a Jurassic Park game that I could never beat the first level of.
I feel like I kind of went a similar direction Derek did, Halo and all that kind of stuff, Call of Duty, but then those kind of started getting really repetitive for me personally, and I've definitely moved on to more of like the RPGs. Favorite game of all time is Star Wars: Knights of the Old Republic.
That's your favorite game of all time?
Probably.
Oh, buddy, there are other
I
games.
don't, dude. I'm telling you, like that game got me to like Star Wars more than any movie ever did.
Oh. You're talking about KOTOR. I was thinking about that.
The MMO.
Not the
just
MMO.
Oh, no,
not-
I thought it was
not-
the MMO.
not the Old
I was
Republic.
like, that is the craziest thing I've ever heard you say.
Oh no! I had such high hopes for that game, and I was like, "This is gonna be it." I bought the $150 collector edition.
You hate to hear it.
I was like, "This is it. This is it." And it was like, it's like when you're
Bum, bum,
that
ba-dum.
theme of the sad Jurassic Park on like a little accordion.
The
Whatever you're playing
melodica.
on. Yeah, KOTOR was the game that got me into Star Wars. The game that got me. I didn't really know it at the time, but technically turn-based role-play games, like D&D, where I don't see it as like behind the scenes. It's basically a dice roll and chances of hitting and missing. I didn't get that at the time. Looking back at it, I'm like, oh my god, I could go back and play this game and probably dominate so hard now that I know how this stuff actually works better. Now that I would understand the meta of how to play the game.
You said the name of the episode in the episode.
I did it. I did the thing. Other than that, I do, Magic. I'm kind of hit or miss, like Travis is on, less than Travis is when it comes to like painting. I have a ton of minis, and eventually I'll get around to painting them, and I have like 200 something like that coming in from
from that
GoFundMe
Kickstarter.
or whatever. It's like GoFundMe.
Someday they'll come.
Kickstarter. There we go.
10,000 years later.
Eventually, I keep getting updates. Yeah, that's kind of my thing is when I go to our game store, I'm like, what minis do they have?
Yeah, Randy's getting his collectible itch from all the little toys he's buying. They're not toys.
Yeah, minis, and then
They're miniatures.
they're miniatures. Go, Mom. Yeah, that's what I collect, and then because of my girlfriend, I've gotten really into like the horror genre. I did cosplay for the first time as Jason Voorhees at a couple of conventions.
That
and
was
a lot of
awesome.
fun.
That Jason outfit was incredible.
Yeah, it was good the first time I did it, but I just hated that you could see like my hair. So it was like, yes, it was $400 for a silicone hood mask, but man, was it worth it because it looked.
It was how much?
Huh?
That silicone hood? Yeah, it's $400.
Randy's got too
Oh
much
my
money.
Lord.
No.
I need to donate to my fantasy baseball fund. Get me started.
Yeah, you don't want to know how much I spent on that Commander Master.
He told us.
Oh yeah, it was over $700 on that.
I thought it was like 300.
No, that was just for the.
No.
Or that
I'm
was
gonna
just
be
for
sick.
the decks.
The decks were $320 for all four, and
I couldn't share a bank account with you. Those kind of crazy expenditures.
It was $290.
I can
or
imagine Derek getting a little notification
three
on his
something.
phone. What?
He spent double digits?
He spent over $20?
Kristen, I'm seeing a charge here of $33 at Torrid. Can you explain that to me?
Oh my gosh.
If his wife would let him, Derek would only shop at like
The Dollar General.
5 and below. Yeah, the dollar.
I wouldn't even shop. I'd just go forage. It's cheaper that way.
He's like, yeah, $1 steak. This is a deal.
We could
This
use
is a
sticks
bargain.
and leaves, Kristen. We are wasting too much money on clothes.
Oh, I thought you were going to say toilet paper. They're
Oh
going
my
to be
God.
the guy that has a pine cone.
Just the poop spoon.
Well, I mean, you did buy the bidet, so you don't really need TP anymore.
Well, still use it. You don't want to get a wet butt.
I know.
Oh, this is unrelated, but since we're talking about games,
Get butt rot.
I am going to play pickleball this Sunday.
Oh. That's like tennis?
It's
Yeah,
like
it's like ping pong.
ping pong and tennis.
Huh, okay.
It's played on a court like tennis is, but it's got like a paddle, and it's a little less running around.
Sounds kinky.
Interesting. Okay. I wish you the
So
best.
it's this Sunday. My sister-in-law and I are going to play it. So I'll let you know if it's awesome or terrible.
Y'all want to place your bets now?
I'm going to say it's terrible.
I'm going to say it's fun.
Yeah, I'm gonna say it's fun, and you're gonna look silly doing it.
Oh, God. That's going to keep me from doing it. People are
Wear
watching.
suspenders.
On the, okay.
Do not let your butt crack
couldn't
show on
finish my
this
thought.
pickleball court.
I'm going to pull them up to my belly button.
You're on a podcast now.
Can't bend
You
over.
have a responsibility. You're a public figure now. Do not embarrass us by showing
can't
your
have your butt crack.
showing your butt crack.
The paparazzi trying to get little
That's
clicks
right.
on
The
the butt crack.
paparazzi is going to be chasing you down.
You know, what you need to do is get that reflective paint and just paint your entire backside.
Yeah, paint it the same color as my shorts so no one knows.
Well, no. It's reflective, so whenever they take a picture, the flash blinds the actual photo, and so none of the photos.
Well, then they'll do little articles. Is Derek's butt so awful it can't even be captured on film?
Or is
Find
Derek
out more at 11.
a vampire?
Oh.
Only his butt, though.
They call it a
I
man-eater.
don't know I don't want to know where the wings sprout out of.
All right, Benjamin, move us to the next topic.
To that cave.
Get us out of here.
So we all have different ways we got here, but how did we get together? How did our group start? Right? What is this mythical meta, and where did it come from?
It came from me.
Okay, tell us about it.
am Travis, just in case you haven't been able to separate our voices yet, and I am truly the linchpin of our gaming group. It would fall apart without me. And I started saying that as a joke, but it might be true.
That's true.
I don't know.
Well, as I say, like you're definitely the one that started
Yeah.
it. I don't know if it would fall apart. If, you know,
I mean, at the very least,
but
Randy and I'll still be friends.
That's true.
you
No, it's
you
just
were the
awkward to hang out with
catalyst.
Benjamin. It's like, we want to hang out, but, Travis doesn't want to see us
You're all the
anymore.
other side of
Yeah.
town.
So Benjamin is my brother. Derek and Randy are my high school friends. And so I started playing Magic.
You
with,
can say sweetheart.
Yes, Derek and Randy are high school sweethearts, and I was their throuple. I was their
There we
third.
go.
I started playing Magic in order to reconnect with my brother after we had both graduated from college. Like a lot of brothers, we fell apart as friends when we got into high school and he graduated, and we kind of fell apart for several years. But once we both had graduated, I wanted to reconnect, and I think he wanted to reconnect. Benjamin, what do you?
I just wanted to play games.
Benjamin just needed.
I don't care who it
Benjamin just
was.
needed a captive to play his game with. Well, he got me.
Right.
You're just a means to an end.
Hey, but then no. I appreciated that he wanted to hang out with me. I was playing Magic. If I'm going to introduce him to a game that I'm playing, that was it at the
Yeah.
time, and he took off with it. I think, if I remember right, the way this really started. So you came to San Angelo from
Alpine.
Alpine, where you were very, very lonely.
Yes, I was very lonely.
And you decided you wanted to spend the weekend with me, and that was awesome. And I was pretty consistently at the time going to an LGS to play Magic on Friday nights. So I made a second deck for you so that you could come play with.
I think I remember that.
And we went.
Was that my my White Weenie deck?
Yeah.
That was fun. I was introduced to White Weenie in Innistrad block and Magic, which for the uninitiated just means lots of little soldiers. So that's how Benjamin and I reconnected, and I was hooked on Magic from then. I think the Innistrad block was a lucky block for me to be introduced to Magic with, because it was
That was a good block.
because it was classic gothic horror. Zombies, werewolves, angels. To me, it evoked a lot of Victorian horror literature, which I had gotten into in college. Things like Bram Stoker's Dracula and several other bits of vampire literature, like Interview with the Vampire. But also, a lot of Magic players will say this, that Innistrad was an incredibly strong block. It was massively successful. The mechanics in it were great. It was a great standard environment also. So the gameplay, the characters, that got me into it, and I was playing with my brother. After I kind of took off having gotten into Magic on my own, I moved back to Houston. I said Alpine is too lonely a place for me, and I moved back to Houston to be with my friends, to be closer to my family. Our main childhood family is all from the Houston area in general, not necessarily Houston proper, but being back in that part of Texas is where I needed to be close to my family. And at the time, my wife's family had just moved from Oklahoma to Texas also. They had moved to the Houston area as well. So knowing that that's where our family would grow once we got married. So I wanted to go ahead and do that. That was also the time that I decided to go back to school. I went to the University of Houston to start work on my master's degree in curriculum and education. And that is also when Derek and I decided to live together. So we lived together and we played lots of Pokemon, but we also started playing Magic at that time. Derek would see me making the decks that I wanted to play against Benjamin, and then I just started showing him the cards and the artwork and describing what strategy I was developing. I think once I developed a mono green stompy deck with big beastly creatures, that got Derek's interest. That got Derek.
Yeah, I remember the first one was like the Mimeoplasm, which is like all about graveyard stuff and
That's
like
right.
sacrificing your creatures and stuff. And I was like, I don't get it. I don't understand. I don't like this game.
Yeah, but I remember Derek was with me when I bought the Mimeoplasm because it was a giant ooze with a T-Rex for a hand.
And I'm all about that.
Yeah, so that artwork got Derek's attention and mine, but then the strategy wasn't necessarily what Derek was into. But I made mono green Stompy. This was during Theros block. So I made Nylea, God of the Hunt, and Greek mythology plus giant monsters. That was right up Derek's alley.
That's all I needed.
Right, Derek?
Yeah.
So that got him interested. Randy had kind of started hanging out with us a lot more. Derek and Randy were close friends. And so we had started playing League of Legends and Diablo together. But then the more Randy came over, he would see us playing Magic. And we would try to make decks and strategies that interested him. Randy, what would you say was the deck or strategy, or what kind of got you in enough to where you wanted to start buying your own cards?
Was it Cranko?
Oh,
Yeah,
is that right?
Cranko probably. I like just like going wide and just smashing.
I completely forgot about my
Overrun.
Cranko Mob Boss deck. Unbelievable. So yeah, I think that was the deck that Randy fell for.
I went from that, and then I tried to build a Glissa, which I think at the time was too complicated for me.
Yeah,
Even today,
I think so.
I still can't figure out. I don't know why, but once I got Aerowasp
Another god from
up
Theros
and
block.
running. Yes, so Aerowasp is red and white Boros, and so it's a very
Aggressive.
strong militaristic,
aggressive.
aggressive strategy. And Krenko is also red, so I was like, okay, I like this strategy. Like I like the Airwasp because it's like I can swing with impunity.
Yeah.
Like I don't have to do I don't have to worry about my stuff dying when I swung in. I just like that I didn't have to worry about. Oh, well, if he blocks this with that, then I'm gonna lose this guy, and so I got to do the math on all stuff. And I just hated that. I was like, I'm gonna swing, and you're either gonna take it or block and die. You know?
Yeah, exactly.
Math is for blockers.
Exactly. Math is for blockers. I was like, I'm swinging. I'm pretty sure this stuff's going to get through because you're not going to want to trade. You wouldn't get the trade because my characters were resistant to the damage, so it's like most likely you're just going to let it hit.
Right.
So I enjoyed that aspect, and eventually moved on to more complex things. But I still enjoy the combat phase. Is I think my sweet spot.
Right.
What do you think your favorite deck is right now?
I mean, I think my strongest deck is either Marchesa or
His Marchesa
Darius.
deck is really good.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Nimizit is also very resilient.
Sorry, we'll keep
So-
talking more about decks later.
Yeah.
So there was a time where it was either me playing with Benjamin when we would meet each other for like family holidays, or I was playing with Derek and Randy. Still was not doing a lot of going to the local shop to play. Like, even back then, once I had kind of been poisoned by a bad experience when I was living in Alpine and driving to Midland for a shop, that experience kind of poisoned me into just wanting to play the game only with friends. But once Benjamin finally did move back to Houston, I was like, yay, all the people I play Magic with are now in the same area. And that's when I kind of forced us all to start playing together.
I think the first time we all played together was the Friday or maybe the Monday after the Astros won the World Series, and you guys got the day off for being in Houston ISD. Does that sound familiar?
We did all get together to play Magic that day. I don't remember if that was the first time, but it was one of the earliest times, yeah.
I thought the first time might have been at Momo's house.
Oh, that's exactly right. That's exactly right. Yeah. Because I had bought that Commander Anthology thing. We had like a 3-hour game.
Yes, that's so right.
Yeah,
so it was really cool. When Benjamin and his family did move to Houston, they lived with my grandmother for a brief time. And she was, of course, a really great host. Snacks, and she was always super friendly. She loves Derek like one of her own children, so one of her own grandchildren.
There we go.
So playing...
It's a sweeter relationship when it's a grandchild.
Yeah, exactly. So that's kind of how we started. Is once everybody finally lived in the same area, that's when we started playing together.
Yeah, man, it's been a good experience. You know, I've probably mentioned several times throughout this series how different playing with this group is than times I've spent in various LGSs or playing with other friends, like in college or in law school, and this is an extremely healthy meta, and it's been really good being part of this group where everyone communicates pretty well and is considerate of one another, and like we're all trying to cultivate a good experience and not just trying to win games. And of course we do want to win, and that's something we'll talk about in a future episode, I think. But the friend group matters, right? This is something where we have tried so hard to take each other's preferences into account and figure out what kind of game we want to play. And I really like being part of this group. I'm glad, if for no other reason, I'm glad I moved back to Houston for this.
Yeah, I really like our group too.
I'm thinking now, I think that our meta might have had a really good start at the beginning, because when me, Derek, and Randy were playing, I was the only one making decks. And they were just they were just playing with the decks that I had made. And so, they were all pretty evenly powered because they were all limited by my own knowledge and expertise.
And budget.
Yeah, and budget. They were all my own cards. But secondly, as we were playing, I always I was happy no matter which deck won. It was never personal or about winning, at least for me. I don't know, Derek and Randy, how you guys felt about that. But I was always really excited to say, oh, hey, I built that deck and it worked. It did its thing. I can still remember the time when we were playing at Randy's house, and we had just had a really nail-biting game. I want to say Timet, Vizier of Noctamun was there. Scion of the Ur-Dragon was another one. And I don't remember who the last one was. It might have been Krenko. But it was just such a nail-biter. And I don't remember Derek. Derek, it sounds more like you and less of Randy. Of like, man, I could build my own deck. or just... man, what would it be like if I wanted to build my own?
I think I remember this. Something along that line. Because then I went out and I bought the Commander Anthology, which came with like 4 re-release of precons or whatever. And then I took that. Then we had the game at Momo's. And then I took the Fraley's green deck and turned it into my first deck, Omnath, Locus of Mana.
That's right.
Which I played the first time when the Astros won the World Series.
Yeah, I remember that.
Ah, awesome.
We just pieced back our whole history. There we go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
that's awesome.
And I remember that. Did we play Planes Chase that time?
I don't think so.
I don't
Or
think we've ever
not Plane
played
Chase.
Plane Chase.
Not Plane Chase. Sorry, Arch Enemy.
Oh,
I do think we played Arch
yeah.
Enemy because so if Derek and Randy got in at Hour of Devastation, which was Nico Bolas, Amon Ket coming to power,
Yeah.
and
The whole
regaining
thing
all
of
strength.
just this giant dragon
So
destroying this like world, that was like
Oh,
was my
yeah.
thing.
All
Yeah.
of that,
I was like, oh, okay.
all of that
I
was
bought a whole box.
got Derek into curating your
Yeah.
own collection also, for sure. But they came out with an Arch Enemy deck set.
Yeah. And I don't know which
For
one of you
Nico
bought
Bolas.
it or what, but I remember we.
Oh, it was me.
Oh, okay, because I remember
It was me for sure.
the reason I remember playing it is because I had Skithrix the Blight Dragon, and we played Arch Enemy with you three against me. I remember that.
Yeah, I remember
Oh,
that too.
yeah.
Boy, I remember when that stuff used to be a boogeyman.
Now I'm all grumpy again. I was having such a good time, and then Benjamin said Skithrix.
Hey, I don't even have that deck anymore. Although I could put it back together.
No,
I don't
you
even
don't
think
need
it's that
to.
scary anymore. I come packed with so much stuff now to deal with nonsense like this. I can't be hurt anymore. Got nothing left to lose.
Derek, you are not Thrun. You can be
I'm getting
hurt.
my life confused again.
Well, I mean, okay, I really appreciate that insight on how everything started off with no one was playing with their own deck, and all the power levels were equal, and it was similar styles, similar budget, and I'm assuming you made decks with them in mind. Like, I want my friends to play this deck. It
Yeah,
matches
I
their-
really did.
And so that was a smooth intro for them into the gaming space, and
And I was teaching them how to play.
yeah,
So at first I was certainly making decks that were just using the most basic game mechanics. So mono green Stompy is just like, here's a big creature and it has trample. That keyword means that whatever damage you deal over another creature's toughness, you get to deal it to the player also. So which means it doesn't matter if they block. You still get to hit them if your creature's powerful enough. But, a monocolor deck makes it easy to teach things like mana cost, mana value, playing lands, casting spells. And the same was true for Krenko Mob Boss. It's a different strategy that uses creature tokens. Your goal is to play as many goblin creatures, create as many goblin tokens, and always swing every time. So by teaching the most basic strategies first, I think that got them into it also.
And I feel like some of that, like the spirit of that, of you kind of thinking of decks we would like, once we were able to start buying our own stuff and building our own stuff, the spirit of that transferred to the Secret Santa thing that we do every year, where we will randomly get assigned someone in our meta and try to build a deck either that's outside of their personal meta, but still fits with the group's meta. Like their budget to $50 or around there, and it's a way to keep new things coming in.
Well, yeah, it's just a way for us to express that we are thinking about the other people and what we like about them, how we want them to grow as players. We're thinking about all of those things when each year around Christmas we each build a deck for them. In some cases, it's, I know that this player likes this strategy or likes this character, and so I'm going to build a deck for that. But I think what's kind of more fun is in more cases we've been saying, Derek doesn't have this color combination, or Derek doesn't have a deck that does this. And so I want to help him grow as a player and expose him to another strategy.
Yeah.
That deck building is truly one of my greatest joys in Magic, and our Secret Santa is something that I really, really love. And I think we should do an episode in the future just about our Secret Santa and our deck challenges that we do for each other.
Yeah, definitely.
One of the very early ones that Benjamin did for me, because I wasn't a very, interactive player, you would say.
A quick player is what it was.
No.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
quick,
that's what it
but
was.
I didn't do a lot of just interaction when it comes to instants and stuff like that. Like counters.
That's true. You played instance on your own.
Yeah, I
turn.
wasn't doing
Yes.
counters and anything like that.
Yeah.
So the whole plan was you to think about, you could do stuff on our 3 turns. That way you don't have to do anything on your turn.
Yeah, I still never really liked that deck. I mean, I appreciate the thought of it, and no, and I've used it going forward. I've tried it, but I was like, that deck was 100% just like wait and watch, and I'm like, I don't have the mental capacity or like to just like watch what every single person's doing and be like, do I allow it? Do I cancel it? I don't know. I don't know what their full strategy is.
I will say that deck backfired. The goal was supposed to be that you took a quick turn because you would draw, you play your land, and then you say pass, and then you do stuff on our turns. What that ended up doing was meant everybody's turn was slow.
Exactly.
Yours.
Exactly.
Oh my
it
god,
backfired.
that's so funny.
And then I really enjoyed the one that I built for Benjamin a while back. Benjamin, I feel like, is great at so many other like strategical parts of the game, and I'm like,
Oh yeah, the slow value engine, the
Yeah.
careful consideration.
and I'm like, man,
of
get a
each
character
move.
in there, suit him up with as much gear, and just beat someone's face in one turn, you know. And so I built
Arden and Rograk.
Arden and Rograk.
Yeah, Rograk. And oh boy, I've regretted it. I've regretted sharing that one with it. I've regretted
That
giving
was
that one away.
truly a deck that embodied Randy's aggressive playstyle that Benjamin really just didn't have before. And Benjamin totally embraced it. Said, wow, look how fun, threatening, powerful this strategy can be.
He's like, look at all these swords of feast and famine that I can attach,
Yeah.
and you know all these dual swords that he had. But he's like, well, I don't need those in a spell slinger deck. I'm not doing anything. Like, but now he had them all for this new deck, and it was like, oh no, I gave someone that has a real budget,
Yeah.
a deck like this, and he could buy the expensive equipment.
Yeah.
Yeah, most of the time, once we've distributed our Secret Santas, they're free to upgrade or modify the deck if they want.
Yeah, that is
So Benjamin was able to take a $50 budget Voltron deck and just totally amp it up.
I mean, because it's like turn 2, and he's over here swinging for 9 commander damage, and it's like, okay, I guess I'll put my 1/1 in front of it, but you're gonna trample over 9 points, and
Yeah.
Hey, y'all, hold on. I think I smell burning.
Ooh.
So you
Alright,
might
yeah,
have to
go
cut
check.
this stuff out, but I need to go chat.
well, now that he's gone.
Let's get to the real podcast. After hours. Where we could swear.
So back to the thruple thing.
All right, let's explore the thruple thing.
Derek was the intermediary. It was like I was Derek's friend, Derek was my friend, but Derek was also your friend.
Yeah, it was very much like we were in I had y'all in 2 different groups of friends.
For a little bit.
Yeah, I hung out with Travis and like the band people and Steven and all that stuff. That was like one group. And then I come over and be a different person with Randy. Who else was in that group?
I don't remember.
I don't really remember. I guess they weren't important.
Wasn't there someone else named Benjamin?
Oh, yeah. I remember him. Yeah. He had a brother too.
A different Benjamin? Yeah.
Yeah, so that group fell apart after high school. So Randy and I would just hang out or whatever while Travis was in college.
Yeah. Well, and then during high school is when I met. You talked about being in D&D, and I was like, I wanted to play D&D, and then you got me invited to y'all's session, and that's where I really met Travis.
Yeah.
Then it was me, you, Travis, and
Michael. God, I miss that guy.
Is he unreachable?
No, he's just
Off doing his thing?
he's too busy.
he's
He's
just
too
somebody I fell
busy
apart
just
from.
crushing brick walls with his bare hands, Derek.
Crushing brick walls and shoveling horse manure, man.
That life.
And just doing those little sidekicks.
Randy, how did we become friends? I don't remember. I can remember how I met.
Band. I was in band for half a year.
I know. I don't super remember us hanging out all the time in band. Did you just kind of like glom onto us?
No, I had other people in band that I guess kind of hung out with.
We were like the bad boys of band. So you're like, I want to.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. The bad boys
Yeah,
of band.
as bad as boys you can get in band.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I was with a different part of the band group, and I guess I know during marching practice, you were one row over and one row thing back from
Yeah.
me. So we were very close to each other physically on the field for most of the march, especially in the early parts of it. So we would. That was my first exposure to you.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember really what. I think it was as much as I don't care for him now.
Yeah.
It was coming to live at my family's house for half
Oh
a
yeah,
year.
I guess I hung out more with you through him. Yeah.
And
then I realized I had
we kicked him
I
out.
had more fun hanging out with you. I think we were already friends at that time, but
Yeah,
we spent a lot
we grew
of
stronger.
we spent a lot of time then. I guess it's the same how you met Travis.
Yeah, and then we were doing those baseball game.
Oh God, yes.
The concession stand.
Yeah.
I still to this day can't get over that kid. Can I get a Gatorade?
What?
I'm sorry, what? Come on, man, a
Lord.
Gatorade. I'm like, point on this menu where you see Gatorade. You mean Gatorade?
Point on this menu.
I said point at this menu where you see Gatorade. I was like, you meant Gardettos?
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out.
Couldn't figure out.
God, Randy.
Dude, I had never wanted to reach across a counter and slap a child so bad.
Oh my God, that is the funniest.
That was the time to do it too. Now it's a crime.
Yeah.
We missed our
Can't
shot.
do it anymore.
Derek, did you say you would do these concessions?
Yeah, we did it together. First from scratch.
Oh my God.
Yeah, we got paid, I think, $20.
Yeah, I think it was like 20
each
bucks.
time.
Yeah.
It was like 4 or 5 hours of being there for 20
Now
bucks.
this is before inflation ravaged our country.
Yes,
Oh,
yes.
yeah.
This is when $20 would have bought
Man, in the early
almost a
2000s,
commander deck.
Holy moly! you could drive to the movies, get a movie ticket and food
Yeah.
for $20.
Yeah. I should have been buying property. I just didn't know at the time.
Wasted our childhood on school.
Good Lord.
We talked about D&D at the baseball concession stand. And then I was like, I've always wanted to play D&D.
Yeah.
All right, Benjamin, is your house on fire or no?
No, my dog got sprayed by a skunk.
Oh.
Ooh.
Yeah, hate to hear it.
No.
So they burnt the dog?
What? No.
Yeah, so I guess you're just gonna burn your dog, huh?
Well, you said you smelled burning, and I was like, dang, it's sprayed with a skunk, and then they just...
Well, it's weird. It doesn't smell quite like a skunk. It smells kind of like burnt garlic. It's a weird smell.
Yeah, that kind of acrid, acidic.
Yeah.
Fun.
Well, are you able to keep recording, or do
Yeah.
you need to handle that?
No, we kind of rubbed him down. I don't know that we have any tomato. I don't know what to do.
Walgreens and buy all the
I
tomato
guess
you can
just
find.
I guess just throw him into the river behind your house.
Right.
And say goodbye.
I think a skunk came in to drink some of his water off the porch, and we let him out to go outside, and I think he just immediately scared the skunk. It was so fast. So,
Yeah.
and so he was running around the house, and that's what I was smelling. So
Ooh.
now
So does your whole house smell like that?
kinda, yeah.
Ooh, that's awful.
So no games at Benjamin's for a while.
Yeah.
I still had my headphones in while I was going around dealing with that. I was hearing all the stuff y'all were talking about. A lot of it's really good.
Yeah, I'll keep some of it. I'm gonna keep the Gatorade part. That's hilarious.
God, I wanted to slap that kid.
So let's talk about some of the actual relevant expertise and experience that we have.
Yeah.
We are more than just good friends hanging out, sharing what we think makes good friends. Some of us actually have studied or have qualifications that can support some of the ideas that we're saying. So I'm just gonna start with mine because I think it's the most obvious. I went to the University of St. Thomas here in Houston, and I have a communication degree. I took classes about interpersonal communication. So not only persuasion and argumentation, which is the basis for most of the communication focuses at the University of St. Thomas, but I also took interpersonal communication, group communication, leadership, and that was my focus. So like Randy mentioned earlier that he had a degree in broadcast journalism, Mine is really in just interpersonal communication studies. So, a lot of what I'll be sharing throughout this podcast are communication theories and actual moves that have been shown clinically to improve relationships. In my classes, we would look at case studies of marriages or of friends and see how they developed over time when people would make certain moves. So I do have a communication degree. I also have a master's degree in curriculum and instruction. I was an English teacher for 9 years. I just recently decided to leave that profession because of some personal stresses and political stresses that come from that position. But that doesn't make any of the expertise any less valuable or less relevant. Everything that I used to teach, I'm still using as a podcaster when I share what I hope is helpful information to others. Uh, uh, Benjamin, how about you go next?
Yeah, sure. Okay, so my undergraduate degree is in government and linguistics, and not a lot of the direct interpersonal communication things that Travis has, but in linguistics we often talk about meaning and connotation and how language can affect your brain and how language can affect things. And so the meaning of words and how they're used and all of that is very important to me. And then I went to law school, and this is kind of a chicken and egg thing, whether or not I'm good at rules interaction because I'm a lawyer, or if I became a lawyer because I'm good at rules interactions. But there's definitely a ton of interpersonal communication that goes on with maintaining a law practice and with getting clients, talking to judges, talking to opposing counsel, negotiating. Most of my experience in law has focused on estate planning and transactional work, business law. And I spent a lot of time negotiating oil and gas leases out in West Texas. I represented landowners when oil companies wanted to lease their land so they could drill for oil, and we would help those landowners get the best deal for them. And even now, even though lawyering is not my full-time profession at the moment, I still take on clients where I have to do negotiation. I'm involved in some litigation right now, and we negotiate settlements. Negotiation, interpersonal communication, networking, all of that is a part of my day-to-day life. And then my day job, as I mentioned earlier, is as a teacher. And for the first for the first 5 years of my teaching career, I actually taught communication classes, communication application and speech and professional communications. And part of teaching that involved teaching conflict resolution, teaching about group dynamics, basically all the stuff that Travis talked about. And interestingly, when they decided to change up what I was teaching to focus more on business classes, Travis was the one who took over my professional communications class. So he taught that also. Mm-hmm. And so that involved a lot of what we're talking about now, group formation and conflict resolution and teamwork. And then the rest of what I teach political science, I teach debate. Debate also involves communication in a different kind of way, but I'm a debate coach. I was actually the Houston Urban Debate League Coach of the Year for the COVID season.
Ooh, go Benjamin! All right.
And so thank y'all. So part of being a debate coach is, of course, managing a team, assigning roles. You know, it's all of the teamwork.
Establishing norms.
Exactly. Oh, yes. We do a lot of establishing norms. We had some people who were toxic, and we had a team meeting who, to go through what do we expect. We wrote out our norms. We wrote out when were we allowed to call people out. How would we call people out? All of that stuff was it is part of being a debate coach. So
that makes me so happy to hear. Listeners, that's a sneak peek into next week.
Wait, it makes you happy to hear that
you talked about establishing
norms. Oh yeah, I've got our norm document. We wrote it all down. We assigned somebody to write it all down, and then it came in very handy throughout the rest of the school year. So I continue, and of course the biggest qualification is a father of 3. Meaning, your kids are constantly both trying to play games with each other and fighting with each other. Constantly. Simultaneously, right. And so managing that conflict, trying to be involved in their life, and also trying to help them grow as individuals. That I think has helped a lot with helping me learn interpersonal communication and managing emotions and all of that.
Right. With people who struggle with emotion regulating.
Yeah. And I think another big part of this is having been part of both healthy and non-healthy metas and playing with both friends and strangers. And I think that's something I'll bring that's maybe unique to this podcast. I know that every once in a while we go to an LGS and play with strangers, but my main competition until I joined this group was with strangers.
Yeah, you have a lot more experience with stranger playing than we do, with all the tournaments and the stuff that you've done.
Yeah, being both part of a competitive Magic scene for many years, and then also playing in a more casual group like this, and seeing how different people treat each other, and seeing how friend groups form, and then a lot of my professional experience, I think, and just the fact, and I think all of us could say this, the fact that we get to be part of a group and we see what works, and then we are also part of the larger Magic group where we see a lot of what doesn't, and we're all well-adjusted individuals.
I don't know about Randy.
Randy.
Hey, what's up?
Randy just woke up from his nap like, oh, what?
Somebody say my name?
Yeah, I mean, Randy's probably, well, we're all well-adjusted individuals. And
The shade.
lack of shade. We're all well-adjusted individuals, and we all play this game as friends that are both trying to win and trying to be nice to each other. And I think that provides all of us with a bit of insight that a lot of people could benefit from.
Derek and Randy, any experiences that you guys want to add?
My main qualification is that I have a microphone and a place to use it on.
A desk where
Yeah,
you can sit and
it's
not
plugged
get bumped.
in, and it will be recorded and then posted to social media for people to listen to. I did mass communications in college. My minor was Spanish.
Really? I didn't know
Really?
that.
Yeah, I took so many.
I've never heard you speak a word of Spanish in my entire life.
I took so many classes in Spanish that they were like, "Hey, take one more and you can minor in Spanish." I was like, "Okay."
Derek, that is so funny.
I think you're stealing a Burt Kreischer skit.
A what?
You're stealing a Burt Kreischer skit about he had like a bunch of Russian, and they're like, if you take 2 more classes, or like if you go on this trip to Russia, you can get a minor.
Oh, yeah.
He's like, all right, and then he gets involved with the Russian mob.
Derek, do you have some cartel
Yeah.
involvement that
Listen,
we don't know
if
about?
I did, I'd get y'all in on it. Some money. My biggest
it.
philosophy is
Hey,
I will
yeah.
do whatever it takes to make money. This world is hard enough where I don't have to work at the stupid capitalism job.
Disclaimer: or all of Eldorado Games product has been legally purchased and it has not gone off the back of a truck.
Yeah, exactly.
So, I mean, I don't know. I don't have any, school teaching. It's mostly just learn by doing and learn by emulating. I see people who are doing something that I want to do, and, they're doing it better than me. So I'll learn what they're doing, copy them, take a bunch of different sources. And this is how I do anything. Everything is just a struggle. So I have to fight to get whatever I want every single time I want something.
Hey, you got street smart.
Yeah, it's
That's
street
how
smarts.
we sell it. That's how we're going to
so
market this.
Yeah. I'm the bad boy podcasting. Puts on sunglasses.
That is right.
Puffs up jacket. Gets on motorcycle. So, yeah, I have this, I don't know, I guess it's not really an ability, but I just learn really fast.
Oh yeah, you have an addictive part of your lizard brain where once it gets interested in something, it just delves. It just digs more and more and more.
And now I know everything. As a kid, I would watch all the Animal Planet stuff, so now I know just tons and tons of facts that I can never use about animals. But yeah, so I mean, if there's something to learn or something to do, I could learn it and learn how to be proficient with it. So, like the fantasy baseball thing. I'm going to learn how to do that. I'm going to make money. I'm going to retire.
Sir, how did you make your millions?
Well, yeah.
Baseball. Fantasy baseball.
Fantasy baseball.
Cartel.
The cartel funded my
Fantasy cartel.
my initial investment into fantasy baseball.
And now I'm still paying them back. My family and I had to
my
keep
God.
moving.
Randy, is there anything you want to add here?
I think I got a few things. Just one correction I want to make is it was broadcast production, not journalism. I am not a journalist in any way, shape, or form. Journalism was the stuff I hated most in those classes.
Yeah, I guess I
It's-
did broadcast
production with
Talk about your wasted degrees.
mass communication.
I could have been an
Right.
engineer.
You know, Derek, there is a musical called Working, and there's a song called If I Could Have Been, and they all sing about the jobs that they wish they had rather than the jobs they're stuck with. It's
I'm
very
just the
sad.
voice of the plebeians.
When we did that musical in school, Kristen came to see it 9 times.
But she is an
She was like,
engineer.
I can't stop crying.
She did the whole I am an engineer and I wish I wasn't.
Yeah.
As someone who, on average, growing up, moved every 3 years,
Oh, that's so true.
I feel like a lot of my, friendship forming is or was over, games or anime water cooler talk, in 5th grade after watching DBZ, or
Yeah.
it's like, oh, Halo's this new thing, like what Derek was talking about earlier. I specifically bought an Xbox so that I could get Halo 2 when it came out, because I had, like, a couple months before I had gone over to some friends and they had the original Halo and they were talking about, oh yeah, Halo 2. And I was like, I gotta get in on this. This is the new hotness. If I'm gonna be anyone, I gotta get in. So, I pretty much, every 3 years had to, all right, new friendship, gotta start finding games, things like that, or, and so I guess that's my qualification, is being forced to continually make friends every 3 years growing up. And then after I got Derek and Travis and now Benjamin, I'm retired. I've done my due
Retired from
diligence.
friend making.
I don't want any more friends.
I've
would
met
say
all the humans I need to.
I've met one more, a work friend of mine. My current job, I have some people that I like, but at my last job, I still talk to one of my coworkers there named Mario. He's also a very big gamer, and especially on mobile games, he's sometimes like the number one player versus
Was it
player.
Yu-Gi-Oh or Dragon Ball Legends?
Well,
or
Dragon Ball
what
Legends
was
is what he's been doing lately. He had a Yu-Gi-Oh Duel Links thing, but right now Dragon Ball Legends, or whatever the mobile game is called, not Dokkan Battle, but the other one. Anyway, in PvP, he's like number one sometimes. Like he'll send me screenshots, and I'm like, wow, that's nuts.
Yeah, that's what Benjamin would do in Gundam Breaker.
Yeah.
Insane.
He's probably like the first friend I made after since high school. That was like 10 years. And then there's a couple. Like I said, I have a group of people I play D&D with at work. So I would call we're friendly. We're growing more friendly and stuff like that.
Yeah, you're growing closer.
Yeah, but this group is by far the best friends.
We are the best of friends. Ladies and gentlemen, that's us. That is just a picture of what we all bring to the table, the things that we're interested in. And again, we hope that our experiences and in some cases our studies and our practices, our techniques, our hope is that we can share our great gameplay experiences to make that the more prevalent conversation online, to make that the more common conversation that shows up in a Facebook group or on Reddit. Rather than seeing constant complaining about strangers, we want hopefully to make the world a better place.
Boo.
Tomato.
No. Does anybody have anything they want to add before we get to Benjamin's nugget of wisdom?
Oh boy, I hope he figured it
He
out.
said at the beginning that he had a whole episode to think of one.
Stall, guys, stall.
I started watching Naruto and Power of Friendship.
You started watching Naruto?
Oh,
Yeah,
no.
I watched another one.
I started watching it with Nikki, and as much as a person I was like, I
if
don't
it's
want to
with
do
your
this.
girlfriend, that's okay.
I know. I was always growing up, I was
no.
like, oh, God, I do not want to watch this show. But watching it, it is a little bit slow right now because it is like, it's anime. They gotta think through every moment of their life in a whole like monologue.
I wish I could see the panic that's going on Benjamin's side as we're talking
And
about
here
Naruto.
we go. It is time for Benjamin's end of episode nugget of wisdom.
Yes, each person, both in this group and in your groups and everyone you meet, has a unique set of experiences that they can bring to the table. Some people have trouble expressing themselves. Some people have trouble adjusting to the people around them. You have found a podcast of people who are friends, they have a good meta, they appreciate each other, and they work together to build a better gaming environment. And that is a rare opportunity in this world. When you go online and you see people complaining about their friends, about their strangers, about their family, and it makes the whole gaming world seem toxic, and it doesn't have to be that way. And honestly, for us and for many other people like us, it's not. So I think that this is a unique opportunity for you to hear from people who are qualified to speak on how to find friends, make friends, keep friends, and enjoy gaming in that context. And I really hope that you take advantage of this to make your play group and your friendships better.
I don't know how he does it.
It's the debate experience.
Oh,
got to come up with a rebuttal
that's
in
totally
30
true.
seconds.
That's right. As you frantically see the time card flipping.
Yeah, that's right. Prep time's running out. Gotta hurry.
Thank you guys so much for listening. Thank you, Benjamin, Derek, and Randy, for being my great friends. Don't forget that you can see more of us, not only on our YouTube channel and on all of our social media, but you can see the products that we use, and you can find your own talking points for strangers at our home website, eldoradogaming.com. Thank you guys so much, and have a wonderful evening.
Bye.
Bye.
Later.
This podcast was edited by me, Travis Konishek, and our intro and outro music is by Tyler Heath of the Oh Hellos. Check him out.